The Accountant is directed by Gavin O'Connor and it stars Batman, Commissioner Gordon, the Punisher, and Robin? This movie is about a man who suffers from an acute form of autism. But at a young age, his father didn't want his son to become a victim, so he forces him to train with these hand-to-hand combat specialists to become a badass who finds irregularities in the books for some of the most dangerous people on the planet. Lots of things got me excited for this movie. For one, Gavin O'Connor has not only directed movies like Miracle, but he's also directed Warrior, which is one of my top 10 favorite sports movies of all time. Also, Ben Affleck. I feel like Ben Affleck is starting to become like the action guy, which is fine by me because the guy is great at it. But if he keeps pumping out movies like The Town and Live by Night, which I am hearing great things about, which if he keeps making movies like these, that is fine because I really liked this movie. It's tough for me to review this movie adequately because I feel like it's one of those films that you almost need to watch twice to really appreciate it. But unfortunately, I have only seen it once, so I'm going to try to review it as best as I can. First off, Ben Affleck is so good in this movie. Character kind of reminded me of a mix between Rain Man and John Wick in that he is so freaking smart and can just solve these crazy math problems in his head, but he can also kick your ass. But he does the thing that John Wick does in his movie and it just makes me smile every time it happens. When he's fighting, he does this thing where he'll fight you and then he'll take you down and he just does this quick double tap to the head. Something about it just makes me laugh because it is just so cool. But anybody can shoot a gun, anybody can appear to be a badass, but what this movie does so well is it takes a lot of time to develop its characters. I'm not saying that this movie is slow by any means, I'm just saying that it takes its time in developing each character and gives everyone depth. And I feel like part of the reason that this movie is getting as poor reviews as it is because of its marketing, which according to who you talk to says it's either great or terrible. Which is great in the regard that it makes it seem like it's this really high intensity, high octane action movie, which does get butts in seats and gets you to get into the theater. But it is misleading when this movie isn't really that at all, and it's more of a crime drama than a straight up action movie. So when people go to see this movie and they're expecting a lot of bullets and a lot of action and a lot of hand-to-hand combat, they're gonna be a little disappointed when this film is actually about the characters. And I would have understood if people were saying that they were bored because the action was bad, but that could not be farther from the truth. Because something that this movie does that is a rarity in action movies today is the action scenes and the fight scenes are not just used to keep our attention, but they actually propel the plot along. Because a lot of the times in action movies today, they just have action scenes so we're not bored. But the scenes in this movie are not just filler and not to just pad the runtime, but they are actually integral to the story. But not only do the action scenes actually have really nice substance to them, but they are so great. But Gavin O'Connor does such a good job directing these action scenes. They are very well filmed. They have great choreography. What's typical in action movies today is they had bad choreography, so they mask that bad choreography with even worse camera work so you can't even see what's going on. But thankfully the action in this movie is so well made and it is very entertaining. As far as problems go with this movie, I only have a few, but they are big enough to point out. First off, there is a scene at the end of the film where this one character just vomits out exposition, which is unfortunate because the majority of this movie does a very good job at masking stuff and keeping it a little bit secretive to where we're not filled in and we're not cued in the entire time. But this scene is just filled with information that is so lazily dumped on us, and we probably could have figured out some of it on our own. Another problem that I had is this movie does have some tonal inconsistencies. They try to balance humor in some of the scenes that I feel like would have been more effective if they just played it straight. And when they inject jokes into it, it just comes off kind of awkward. And I feel like those scenes would have been way more compelling without the humor. But all in all, I really liked this movie. All the characters are well developed. It's incredibly well directed. The action scenes are brutal in the best way possible. Something happens toward the end of this film that is such a great twist, and I really wasn't expecting it at all, and it totally blew me away. If you like action movies that take their time and are a bit smarter, that force you to think, then I definitely would check out The Accountant. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, click on the link down below and subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews and movie related things. And guys, thank you so much for watching and see you next time.